Barça! Barça! Barça!
Hello and welcome into Talk FC, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and thank you for joining me today. And hopefully a lot of you got to see my match review straight after the game, because this morning the first thing I want to say is La Liga are taking that video down for whatever reason. Here's the email here that I got this morning saying that basically claimed the video, they blocked it, you can't watch it now for whatever reason that is. I believe that it's because I showed screenshots of the game, which I think is incredible. If they're blocking the video for screenshots, I didn't use any footage whatsoever. I know you can't do that, and I understand that, that's fine, but screenshots, really? But I'm really hoping to get that sorted. Hopefully we'll hear back from them tomorrow. I really do think there's been some kind of mistake there, because surely screenshots do not warrant a blocking of the video. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, and whatever happens in the future, I will try and avoid these kind of things. I want to try and make the videos as good as I possibly can for you guys, but obviously I've got to stay within those guidelines, and whatever La Liga think, we're going to try and abide by that. So moving on to today's video now. Disclaimer: if La Liga are watching, this video does not contain any video content of your league. It does not contain any screenshots of your league. This is my voice, and we're going to be talking over some pictures, if that's okay with you, La Liga. What we are going to do today is discuss our game yesterday against Rayo, the really big test that it was, and what that's done to us now. Going into that game against Inter Milan, I spoke yesterday that we needed to improve on a lot of things. We're going to be discussing exactly what those things are today, and we are also going to be building up to that game with some early team news and the arrival in the squad of Lionel Messi. But the first thing that I do want to do, guys, is look yesterday at this player influence, as we do now for most of the games. In the recent games, we've seen a lot of influence from that midfield, and you can see that that basically was the case yesterday. But there's something really glaringly wrong with this little graphic here that we are going to look at. There's a lot of influence here, you can see, from the wing-back areas, the defence are heavily involved, and the midfield. But Arthur yesterday in that midfield failed to sort of have the same kind of impact that he has had in recent weeks. Now, I've got no problem with that at all. Arthur is a player who only joined the club this season. He's still a very young player. He's played consistent football now. Sevilla, Inter, Real Madrid. These are very, very difficult games that can drain you, and I think yesterday it wasn't his best game. He came off early, and there's no problem there. He'll be back, no doubt about that. But my problem here is with those creative wide players in the front three. Look at Coutinho, look at Rafinha. Yes, Luis Suarez there doesn't have as much influence, but he had his influence on the score sheet. That's what he's there to do, score the goals to get us points. It's Coutinho and Rafinha that simply do not do enough. Are they holding their width? No, they're not. So they've got absolutely no impact in terms of giving us a tactical advantage on the pitch. Clearly, Ernesto Valverde wants them to play narrower so you can allow Albert, so you can allow Sergio Roberto to bomb on and get that width out wide. So what are they doing in field? What exactly is their purpose when they're in field like that? They're not doing anything. Coutinho there had no influence yesterday. Rafinha there had no influence yesterday. We need those players in the front three to be dynamic, to be creative, to be really, really effective in the final third. And yesterday, we did not see any of that. We did not see one moment from those two players that really did give us a lift, give us a boost, cut open Rayo Vallecano. It didn't happen. And that, for players in the Barcelona front three, who have always been massive players in this system, that front three, you base your team around it sometimes, and they're just not doing enough. And just to highlight that point there, I would go yesterday to the top players in yesterday's game against Rayo from both teams with regards to chances created. Now look who's at the top once again. Just like in the Classico, it's Sergio Roberto coming up from right back. He's the man who's creating. The same goes for Jordi Alba. Even Gerard Piqué is on that list. Rafinha's there with one chance created, but Coutinho nowhere to be seen. Dembele came on and had a chance. Munir came on and he created a chance, but it's not enough. We're relying on our fullbacks far, far too much to create those chances. Alba is brilliant at doing it. Sergio Roberto is brilliant at doing it, but more responsibility is on the shoulders of Coutinho, is on the shoulders of Rafinha, whoever plays in that right wing slot. You've got to do more. Which actually brings me on here to Felipe Coutinho himself. I want to talk about him and single him out here on his own, because I have to stress here, I'm a really big Felipe Coutinho fan. I'm glad that we've signed him, and I really do think he could be effective in this Barcelona team. But the question is, where is he most effective? Is his best position out on that left-hand side, in that left wing role? I honestly don't know, and I think that's a problem that Valverde right now can't really sort out. He doesn't really know where Coutinho's best position is. Is it in an interior, in a three in midfield? Sometimes he looks like with depth in that position. Sometimes he looks like he can't really play that midfield role. But out wide yesterday, like I say, he was anonymous. He was completely ineffective in the game. When you go away from home and he plays out in that wider area against a physical team who's going to get in his face, get bodies around him, he cannot make an impact. And for a player as expensive as he was and as talented as he is, you need him in areas where he can receive the ball and he can do something with it. Yesterday was not that game. You even look at the Clasico. He scored, of course. He was very, very good inside the area. He got his goal. But after that, he didn't have a big impact on the game. He was subbed off after 74 minutes, and Coutinho in the Clasico was pretty underwhelming in some areas. And even yesterday, he went off after 67 minutes because it simply didn't happen for him. Valverde has to find the solution. Is it out wide? Is it in midfield? Is it a sort of hybrid between the two? We need to find out where Coutinho's best area is, because in the time now where Messi has been out injured, we were looking for leaders, players to take on that responsibility and really grow and shine for this club. Suarez has done that. He has trebled his performances in that striking role, but Coutinho, it hasn't quite happened. And now you've got to ask, why has that not happened and how we can put that right? And then I simply have to look at the man who came on for Felipe Coutinho, and that was Munir El Haddadi in that left-hand side role, and I just don't think it worked. It doesn't work. And what I would ask here is, why not Malcolm? Why does Ernesto Valverde think that Munir is a better option right now than €42 million signing Malcolm? Obviously against Cultural Leonesa, Malcolm didn't pull up any trees, but that was his first minutes in months. He has hardly played since he arrived here at Barcelona. What were you expecting him to do in a game like that against a third-tier opponent? He's got to get into rhythm. He's got to have some game time. And what better way than to have it in games like this? I think yesterday, putting Munir on was just useless. He didn't really do anything. He didn't really add anything. He didn't really give us anything that we didn't already have. And I just think Malcolm, in these kind of games, he's a better option. When all's said and done, you've got to be ruthless. At a club like Barcelona, you've got to pick the best for the job, and that has to be Malcolm over Munir. It has to be on that left-hand side. And the final thing when it comes to yesterday's game and what we can really learn is all to do with that mentality playing away from home. And I have to question that right now, simply because in the first half yesterday and the start of the second half as well, when we went behind, it just looked like away from home, we just can't do it. We can't seem to cut it. Whether that comes from the coach to the players, I don't know. But away from home and at home, we're two completely different teams. We've seen us at the Camp Nou obliterate Sevilla, destroy Inter Milan, absolutely annihilate Real Madrid, and then we would go away to 19th place, Rayo Vallecano, and really struggle. If we're being completely honest, yesterday, we didn't deserve that win. You've got to put your hand on your heart and say Rayo probably deserved all 3 points, if not at least one. Somehow we got out of it with a win, but we really didn't deserve that. And away from home, there's some sort of change in our mentality, in the way that we play, in our confidence. Like I say, I don't know whether Valverde away from home is maybe a little bit more conservative. You've seen yesterday, no rotation really. He went with his strongest team, but was that the best option? I thought going into it, we continue that momentum, but it didn't really happen. Those players out there didn't look motivated to play against Rayo, and we have to sort out that problem away from home, and we have to sort that out quickly, because coming up, Inter Milan. And on that exact subject, of course, tomorrow, guys, will be coming up the match preview for that Barca versus Inter game, which is a massive, massive game at the San Siro, and will really, really test us in terms of away trips. Going to the San Siro is as tough as it gets on a big European night. That will be the night that we can really perform, and in the squad for that game is Lionel Messi. He is there with an asterisk next to his name. The reason for that is he is yet to receive the medical green light to play in this game. I'm still not 100% sure that he will even feature, but he is going to travel with the squad. He is going to be there, and for the time being, he will send shockwaves into that Inter Milan camp. They will be worried that Messi might face them. He may or he may not, but I think everybody pretty much is gone that could go. You know, only Samper, Umtiti and Vermaelen haven't gone because they're all injured. Messi is on the plane, as is Carlos Alenia, Iñaki Peña, Chumi. The Barcelona B players are on the plane as well. That squad will be trimmed to an 18-man squad when we do, in the final hours, go and face Inter, but as it stands right now, Messi in contention. So that is basically all from today's video, guys. Just wanted to bring you up to speed. There were some things that happened yesterday, and for those of you who couldn't watch the match review, I wanted to give you some more analysis from yesterday's game. There are big improvements that need to be made from yesterday and our general away performances in the league this season, because it hasn't just been one game. It hasn't been a one-off. Away from home, we have simply not been there this season, and we need to take the right steps to improve that, and it all happens at San Siro on Tuesday It's going to be a cracker. A lot more coming up on that game tomorrow. I will see you then, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. But until then, as always, Visca el Barça.
Barça!